All right, so Kamaru Usman, guys, a much bigger favorite this time around. To what extent do you expect this rematch to be different?
I think, first off, we saw what happened in the highlights of that first fight. That was a stand-up. It was the dirtiest, closest, hardest fight I've ever seen. But, guys, there was no wrestling. A national champion, Kamaru Usman, an All-American, Colby Covington, left their wrestling in the back. They respected each other. It crossed it out. I will predict for you now, both of them will try. And the big question is the squeeze worth the juice? Because you're going to get fatigued going for that takedown, Anthony. If you don't get it, you're stuck in a bad spot. I predict both of them agree with me, and they're both going to look to wrestle tomorrow night.
Well, and I also agree with you. I think that something has to change. We know, we have video evidence that Kamaru Usman is getting better and better every single time he fights. We can't necessarily say that for Colby Covington right now because he hasn't been as active as Kamaru has. I think the wrestling is going to be the difference. I think in the first fight, I don't think they wanted to give each other one. I think if Kamaru would have shot and Colby stuffed it, I don't think he would have ever lived it down. But right now, that has to change. Something has to be different in this fight.
Wrestling royalty, to be sure. As many of you know, when you see that 0% bottom position time, Kamaru Usman has never been taken down in his UFC career. Colby Covington insinuating in our fighter meeting on Thursday that he would at least try to do so. Sometimes when you get in there, you pivot a little bit. We have heard Colby Covington talk a lot about those improvements, Lionheart, even though we don't necessarily have the visual evidence. Seems like the buzzwords are balance, reflexes, reaction angles, higher guard. Seems like he has a lot of confidence in the work that he has done, but it's not as though he's been with these coaches, the new coaches, forever.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not saying that he hasn't improved. It's just we haven't seen it, so we don't know exactly where that's going to be. I think sometimes when Colby fights, he gets into these weird situations where it's just chaos. Credit to his nickname.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like in the first part of their first fight that there was a system. He wasn't trying to walk anybody into any traps. He wasn't going anywhere. I think in this fight, he needs to be headed in a direction. He needs to be, fundamentally sound the entire time, which I don't think he was in points of the first fight, and it was still a very, very close fight, Chael.
Kamaru Usman can be hurt, guys. We saw that in the fight with Gilbert Burns. What has impressed me the absolute most about Kamaru Usman is his ability to reset right in the middle of the round. Some guys need the night off. Oh, it wasn't my night, or definitely a break between rounds. He will do it, and he will refocus right in the middle of action. But Kamaru is stubborn. If Colby can lure him in, I think it's at least going to open opportunities for some of those takedowns. That's going to be the big difference, guys, and they're both at new camps. But we need to mention that for both.
Yeah.
Kamaru left and went out to Colorado, but Colby got thrown out of the American top team. Either way, it's a new system. We got a bit of a new fight here.
When you see Conan Silveira in the corner of Colby Covington, it reminds you, yeah, this is totally wholesale changes with those MMA Masters guys and two of the more unheralded coaches in the game, right? Cesar Cornero and Daniel Valverde, and sort of a unique alignment with a couple of Brazilians now cornering Colby Chaos Covington. But may sound trite, but it's all in front of Colby Covington. He will try to become the undisputed UFC welterweight champion here in a matter of hours.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.